It wasn't like violent, it wasn't like, I'll have you. And I was like, no, it was just like, he tried to go for it. And I pushed him back. And I could smell alcohol on his breath. And he came at me again. He clearly didn't get the message. Like most men, after one shove off would know it's a no. He came at me again. And the same thing, I pushed him away and I went over by the door to get out. He used to lock the door when not just me, but women were in there. And he looked at me and said, when is your contract up? And it was soon. I remember telling him whenever it was up. And then he came for me a third time.
It's horrifying to know that you're just trying to do a job and to be sent in by a woman, it's just very, very hard.
Roger Ailes' reign at Fox News crashed down after accusations of intimate violence and harassment hit the headlines. Bombshell dives deep into this explosive scandal, revealing how Ailes used fear and secret cameras to rule his network. It all exploded when Gretchen Carlson, once a Fox News journalist, courageously sued him. Soon, others like Megyn Kelly joined her, and the accusations piled up fast, forcing Ailes out. What dark secrets are still hidden? Let us expose why this scandal could change the entire media industry, because the consequences may be more devastating than we ever imagined. The fall of a media titan. The movie Bombshell, which just came out, is getting a lot of buzz. It's been nominated for 2 Golden Globes and 4 Screen Actors Guild Awards. The film tells the true story of a big scandal involving intimate violence and harassment that brought down Roger Ailes, the powerful boss of Fox News and a well-known figure in the Republican Party. He wasn't just any leader. He was an advisor to major conservative politicians like Richard Nixon and Donald Trump. It's said that he ran his company by intimidating people. Some former employees even revealed that he had hidden cameras all over the Fox News offices. Things took a dramatic turn in 2016 when Gretchen Carlson, a former Fox journalist, filed a lawsuit accusing him of intimate violence harassment. This legal action led to an internal investigation at Fox News and opened the floodgates for more accusations. Megyn Kelly, who was quickly rising in popularity at Fox, also came forward to say that he had harassed her. In total, over 20 women spoke up with similar claims, which eventually forced his resignation in July of that year. In the movie Bombshell, coming to theaters all over the country on December 20th, Nicole Kidman plays Gretchen Carlson. After she starts her lawsuit, Carlson mostly stays in the background, waiting and hoping that other women at Fox will come forward with their own stories to support her case. Charlize Theron takes on the role of Megyn Kelly, who is torn about the big risk of hurting her career by speaking out about her own experiences. Margot Robbie plays a fictional character named Kayla, a young woman who dreams of becoming a news anchor at Fox.
I don't want to be on TV, I want to be on Fox!
But faces intimate violence and harassment from him, played by John Lithgow, and fights against the unfair treatment that is all too common at the network. The movie is directed by Jay Roach, who also made Trumbo and Meet the Parents, and it moves quickly, much like The Big Short, another movie written by the same writer. The cast is packed with other big names like Allison Janney, Connie Britton, and Kate McKinnon, who all play important supporting roles. The story is based on real-life events, focusing on a scandal that rocked Fox News and highlighting the struggles and bravery of those who spoke up to reveal the hidden truths inside one of the most powerful news organizations in America. But this isn't even the most shocking part. As the story unfolds, we see how deep the issues really go and how many people were affected by the toxic culture at Fox. The film doesn't just show the personal battles of the main characters. It also gives a glimpse into the system that allowed such behavior to continue for so long. And with every twist and turn, the tension builds, reminding us that the stakes are incredibly high for everyone involved. He turned Fox News into a major player in the television world. Before that, he was a well-known advisor for the Republican Party, helping Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush win their elections. He eventually moved into television, where he helped breathe new life into CNBC during the 1990s. The stage is set at Fox News, where new voices start to make big waves, the controversial empire of Fox News. By 1996, Rupert Murdoch, the leader of News Corp at the time, saw what he could do and hired him to launch Fox News. He played a big part in finding and training strong conservative voices like Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity. Their shows, which focused heavily on their own opinions, quickly became key to the network's growth. He led Fox News to promote viewpoints that often stirred up controversy. The network, for example, raised doubts about Barack Obama's birthplace and criticized companies for supposedly undermining Christmas traditions. He also had specific ideas about how female anchors should look. He often hired women who were blonde and slender and insisted on transparent desks on set to show their legs. This practice was even featured in the movie Bombshell. Many women at the network also mentioned a culture that seemed to prefer skirts over pants, supporting this visual style. But this wasn't the worst part. As more stories came out, it became clear that many female employees felt there was a much deeper problem at Fox News. He had strong connections and regularly talked with powerful leaders and former presidents. Even before Donald Trump announced he was running for president, he often appeared on his TV network. As Trump's campaign moved forward, he showed up even more, thanks to his choice to feature him frequently, which played a big part in helping Trump win the election. Fox News focused on conservative, older viewers, a group he felt was ignored by other news channels. By the time he left Fox News in 2016, the channel was attracting about 2 million viewers every day, which was more than CNN and MSNBC combined, according to the New York Times. But this wasn't the worst part. Gretchen Carlson and others accused Roger Ailes of intimate violence and harassment. In 2014, Gabriel Sherman, a journalist for New York Magazine at the time, published a biography of Ailes called The Loudest Voice in the Room.
So my book is about Roger Ailes and Fox News and the transformation of the American news media.
This book included claims from a woman who chose to stay anonymous. She said that while Ailes was working at NBC, he offered her an extra $100 a week in return for intimate violence favors. In 2016, Gretchen Carlson, who had been a host on Fox and Friends, officially accused him of ongoing intimate violence harassment. She claimed that after she rejected his advances, he retaliated by cutting her salary and moving her shows to less favorable time slots. In her legal complaint, Carlson recalled a conversation where he suggested that if they had been in an intimate violence relationship earlier, it would have helped her career. After she refused, she was fired from her job. But this was just the beginning of the fallout. The allegations against him sparked a series of other claims from various women, leading to his eventual resignation from Fox News. He denied the accusations against him, claiming he fired Carlson because her show had low ratings. Fox News tried to hide incidents of intimate violence and harassment. When Carlson started working at Fox News, she agreed to terms that kept her from speaking publicly about her experiences and required her to settle any legal issues through private arbitration instead of in a public court. In an article for Time, Carlson explained how companies use non-disclosure agreements and forced arbitration to keep cases of intimate violence harassment out of the public eye. Even when women risk their careers to speak out about this misconduct, these legal tactics help hide the truth, allowing those in power to stay in their positions. Scandals start to shake the core of Fox News, bringing big changes behind the screen. As more women came forward with their stories of intimate violence and harassment by him, O'Reilly, and other powerful men at the company, it became clear that many women at Fox News had faced discrimination and worse. For example, Fox News decided to settle an intimate violence harassment lawsuit against O'Reilly with a huge payment of $32 million, and then chose to renew his contract. He continued to defend himself and other powerful men in the network, while the women who worked there had very few ways to address their complaints. But that wasn't the worst part. The environment at Fox News was such that many women felt they couldn't speak up at all. There was a clear dislike between him and Rupert Murdoch's sons, Lachlan and James, who were played by real-life brothers Ben Lawson and Josh Lawson in a movie. Lachlan had clashed with him over the direction of Fox News back in 2005, leading him to move back to Australia after his father took his side. Then in 2015, there were changes at the company, and he wasn't happy when he had to start reporting to Lachlan and James instead of Rupert directly. By then, James had become the CEO of 21st Century Fox, and Lachlan was the executive co-chairman at Fox. The two brothers were attending the Sun Valley Conference, a yearly gathering for powerful people, when they found out about Carlson's lawsuit. Since their father wasn't there, they spoke with their legal team and decided to start an internal investigation into the intimate violence harassment claims. They chose the law firm Paul Weiss to handle this investigation. People have wondered why the brothers chose to act this way. Maybe they were still upset over a phone hacking scandal in the UK that had embarrassed their father, Rupert Murdoch. Or perhaps they wanted to prevent another possible scandal from happening. It could also be that they knew looking into his actions would reveal his well-known rude and sexist behavior at the company. They might have even seen it as a chance to get rid of a powerful rival within the business. He turned to Rudy Giuliani and Susan Estrich for help. After the lawsuit was announced, he asked Giuliani, a former New York City mayor and a legal advisor, for his support. He had known Giuliani for years. He had helped Giuliani with media strategies during his 1989 mayoral campaign, and Giuliani had even officiated his third wedding. When the company started its internal investigation, Giuliani stepped in as his advocate. In a surprising move, Susan Estrich, a well-known women's rights advocate and legal expert, also joined Ailes' defense team. Estrich was famous for changing the way the legal system deals with violence cases, strongly criticizing how acquaintance violence, intimate violence assault by someone known to the victim, was often treated as less serious than other types of violence. She frequently spoke out against how the media and courts portrayed victims. Despite her strong feminist views, Estrich had been friends with Ailes for a long time and often appeared on Fox News, usually sharing liberal viewpoints in discussions. But this wasn't the most unusual part. This was another case where a respected feminist lawyer chose to defend a man accused of serious offenses against women. As accusations fly, some stand firm, showing where their loyalties lie. The strange battles of a network scandal. At the same time, Roger Ailes' wife, Beth Ailes, took steps to protect her husband during the scandal. Right after the lawsuit became public, Beth Ailes, who Connie Britton portrayed in the movie Bombshell, reached out to Kimberly Guilfoyle, a co-host at Fox News, to rally support across the network for Ailes. The film shows Guilfoyle handing out T-shirts in support of Ailes and encouraging her female colleagues to wear them to show their backing. It's worth mentioning that Guilfoyle left Fox News in 2018 after her own allegations of inappropriate behavior surfaced, which she denied. Greta Van Susteren and Jeanine Pirro, both well-known television hosts at Fox News, initially stood by their boss, Roger Ailes, when he was accused of intimate violence and harassment. Van Susteren and Pirro, who hosted Justice with Judge Jeanine, each responded in their own way to the accusations, showing the different reactions of people who were close to Ailes. At first, Van Susteren was very vocal in defending Ailes. She had worked with him for nearly 15 years and felt she knew his character well. When another host, Gretchen Carlson, accused Ailes of intimate violence harassment, Van Susteren quickly dismissed her as a disgruntled employee, suggesting Carlson was upset because her contract had not been renewed. Van Susteren said she didn't believe the accusations, feeling certain that if they were true, she would have known about it. Van Susteren also pointed to Ailes' record of promoting women on the network. She mentioned several examples, including the career of Catherine Cryer, to show that Ailes had been supportive of female hosts. She argued that Carlson's shift to a different time slot was actually a promotion, giving her more control over her show. But as more women came forward with similar stories, Van Susteren began to question her initial stance. Over time, she expressed regret for defending Ailes and criticized Fox News' top management and outside investigators for not doing their job properly. Her change of heart coincided with Ailes leaving Fox News after multiple accusations came to light. By September 2016, Van Susteren decided to leave Fox News, using a clause in her contract that allowed her to exit after Ailes resigned. She said that the network no longer felt like the right place for her, especially with the ongoing lawsuit settlement with Carlson, which ended in a $20 million agreement on the day she left. In her final statements, she stressed that she would have spoken out had she known about any misconduct. On the other hand, Jeanine Pirro, who is known for her strong conservative views and legal background, continued to support longer than many of her colleagues. In the film Bombshell, which portrays the Fox News scandal, Pirro is shown in a tense conversation with another host, Megyn Kelly, highlighting the deep divisions within the network. While the film added some fictional elements, it reflected the real-life split among Fox News employees during the scandal. Pirro, along with other conservative hosts, dismissed the accusations as baseless attacks meant to damage him and the network. Her continued presence on Fox News after the scandal showed her ongoing loyalty. In the end, Rupert Murdoch, the owner of Fox News, decided to fire Ailes. This decision recognized the seriousness of the accusations and marked a step toward addressing broader problems within the company. Choices are made between staying quiet or speaking out as the crisis grows. Echoes of controversy. The different ways Greta Van Susteren and Jeanine Pirro responded to the scandal showed the complexities that people face when dealing with public controversies in a tight-knit professional setting. Van Susteren's journey from defender to critic reveals the struggle of coming to terms with difficult truths, while Pirro's steadfast loyalty highlights the deep divides such situations can create. As the scandal unfolded, it led to important changes at Fox News, with a new focus on improving the workplace environment and tackling long-standing issues. But even with these changes, the story of how the network handled the accusations remains a significant example of the challenges organizations face in dealing with internal crises. During this time, Megyn Kelly chose to stay quiet, as shown in the movie. Beth, who was related, also tried to reach out to Kelly, but Kelly said she couldn't speak about it until the ongoing investigation was finished. Meanwhile, at least 20 women, including Megyn Kelly, came forward with more accusations of intimate violence and harassment. They shared their stories with either the legal team handling the internal investigation or with the lawyers of Carlson, another woman who had made similar complaints. One woman even reported that he had secretly recorded her and used the video to pressure her into setting up other women in compromising situations. Kelly also met with the legal team and told them he had harassed her 10 years earlier. But this wasn't the worst part. As the investigation continued, more details started to emerge that made the situation even more troubling. The situation grew more intense, and Fox started thinking about firing. After 20 years, he stepped down and later went on to advise Trump. Less than a year after leaving Fox News, he passed away after falling at his home in Florida. Bill Shine resigned from his position as co-president of Fox News in 2017 after claims emerged that he helped cover up inappropriate behavior at the network. He was closely connected to Roger Ailes, the former head who also faced similar accusations. Shine's departure was part of broader issues at Fox News, which included the firing of prominent host Bill O'Reilly due to similar concerns. This highlighted ongoing problems at Fox News related to the handling of harassment allegations. The characters played by Margot Robbie and Kate McKinnon are fictional. In the story, Megyn Kelly struggles with whether to share her own troubling experiences from 10 years earlier. She wonders if he continued to act inappropriately towards women at Fox. To find out, she meets with Kayla, a young reporter with big ambitions, played by Margot Robbie. During a private conversation, Kayla admits that he has been making unwanted advances toward her. This is shown in a disturbing scene where he asks Kayla to lift her skirt to prove her loyalty by showing her underwear. Kayla and Jess, who is Kayla's friend and colleague, are both made-up characters. Jess decides not to get involved, worried that her intimate violence orientation might get her fired if it becomes known. The inclusion of these younger journalists in the story is meant to show the fear and tough choices faced by less powerful women at Fox. They are caught between moving up in their careers or speaking out to protect themselves and others. What do you think about the portrayal of workplace harassment in film? Like, comment, and subscribe to join the conversation and share your views.